Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I am your host, Joanne Crone, joined here by the lovely Brie Tucker.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
She has a dance routine going for you all today, so you're just going to have to use your imagery with the imaginary hat. Yes. Today we are talking about an interesting topic, AI, which is everywhere and is used a lot in workplaces. I mean, we use it here at No Guilt Mom. It helps us write descriptions. It helps us write podcast episode show notes. It's really helpful, but we don't talk a lot about how we can use it in the home.
And there are a lot of ways that you can use it in the home, which is, it's interesting because when you threw out this idea for the episode, I'm like, well, I don't think people are going to want to do that or, hear an episode about this. But then the more we talked about it, the more I realized how many missed opportunities of things that I struggle with on a regular basis, that it never dawned on me that I could use AI to help these things. But as soon as you said them, or as soon as we put them on our show notes, I'm like, well, duh. Well, where have I been?
There's a lot. And if you have never used ChatGPT before, by the way, we have a little freebie for you that you can go and download. We're going to put the link in the show notes as well. But if you just right now want to go to balanceformoms.com/prompts, that's PROMPTS, you can download that guide with all of these ChatGPT prompts and how you can use it in the home. So just keep that as a mental note. And now let's get on with the show. Okay. So this whole discussion, Brie, of AI, it is really, really interesting because what I find is that either people have embraced AI already, or there's this huge fear against AI that it's going to take over the world and that it's bad for society and we shouldn't use it at all. I mean, do you see that as well?
Well, okay. So let me preface that with, we have had so much given to us in terms of entertainment, both through books and through movies and television, of all the things that can happen with AI. And I'm not discrediting actual theorists and researchers. It's the science community that is saying, like, this is the progression we will be going through for AI. But I do think that there is a good chance that The Matrix and Terminator has influenced a lot of us in our lives. And
iRobot.
Yes, right? And I think that, like, if there's one thing that Brienne can tell everybody is that as someone who believed the movies I watched growing up that I could change the bad guy, I'm going to say that perhaps having all of these things, like, being given to us, like all of these tall tales, or not tall tales, but all of these stories of woe with AI, perhaps we can keep an eye on it. And yes, there are some legit issues with AI that make things rough, and we'll talk about those. But
yeah,
overall, the uses that we're talking about for AI are not
pretty benign.
They're not going to lead into the fears that people have, and they're going to help you out so much with mental load.
Well, what's so interesting about AI is, like, there's actually this Jennifer Lopez movie on Netflix that came out a few months ago. It's called Atlas. Have you seen this?
I've heard of it, but I don't know enough about it. So tell me more.
I don't recommend it, first of all. I'm sorry. I have to be completely honest with my movie recommendations. Else I feel like it damages my credibility if I
so it's not one of her better ones. Okay, gotcha.
I did watch it though, and I had it on the background when I was working. And her character had a fear of AI and robots and technology in the movie, and then she learned to, like, love her robot. It's very much a Big Hero 6 type story where, you learn to love, like, Baymax, and then he gets reincarnated as another Baymax, so it's this human relationship with AI and technology. We have those movies coming out now as well, but a lot of the fears of AI are like, I won't use it because I'm afraid that my skills will go downhill if I use it too often. And then there's, like, I think that one, it's so interesting, that one, because I feel like it has some similarities with the machines replacing human workers in factories. Like how there used to be a human, like, putting on the toothpaste tube caps, and now that's all done with machines. And so when I see that, I'm like, well, this is just like progress. It's like things being done differently than they have been done in the past.
Well, okay. So I would say in that case where someone is like, I'm afraid that if I use AI, I will lose some of my own skill set.
Mhm.
I feel like that is a personal thing. Like, you need to weigh, first of all, whether or not the time you're spending doing that skill from scratch is worth, and that the time that you would save isn't helpful. And then second of all, if you feel like you're going to lose your skill, then maybe find ways to keep using that skill, but maybe aren't the same. Like, okay, so like if it's writing, so like maybe you don't want to use AI because you're in a field like us, where like we write
Mhm.
and we have like blog posts and everything, and you're like, oh, if I start doing that, I'm going to lose my creative juices. Well, then maybe you start as a hobby journaling or writing stories to keep
Well,
that going in an
it's
enjoyable
interesting,
way. I don't
the
know. What do you
blog
think?
post thing and like the
Okay.
writing thing, because I feel like AI has actually made me a better writer. And here's why.
Okay.
ChatGPT is not a great writer. Like, it doesn't sound very human. And you notice as soon as you use it, like, it is not you talking as soon as you use it. And it's interesting because I will go in, and usually I don't use it for anything creative or any like books I write or anything like that. I use it for promotional emails, things where I have to market, and they're not exactly my favorite emails to write. You have to include a lot of components in there, detailed components like prices, what's included, things that like I get so lazy and I don't want to write about that. I want the fun part of writing, the
Yeah.
expression and the emotion and all of that. And so in terms of that, ChatGPT has actually made me a better writer because it takes care of that weakness I have with talking about the details and lets me put all my focus into the emotion and the fun that I find. And I
Yeah.
think that having ChatGPT and using it like in the home, which we're going to give you many ways to use it, it's going to take out that part that you don't find fun that still needs to be done by
Yes.
somebody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we talk about in our Common Happy Parenting, which is part of our balance program. You have that how would I describe it? It's like it's the 4 squares, and it's like things that I'm really good at, but
Mhm.
and I enjoy, things that I'm good at but I don't enjoy, things that I'm not good at but I enjoy, things that I am not good at and I do not enjoy. Like, it
Yeah.
helps shift things around because we all have those tasks. Helps
Mhm.
shift things around in there.
We could just take those tasks of things you're good at but don't enjoy, and the things you're not
Yes.
good at and don't enjoy. Those could be
Meal
AI.
planning.
Meal
Meal
planning.
planning.
Meal planning is awful. It is awful.
Yeah,
But
I can't stand that. Mm-mm.
we have a way out of it. But it's so interesting that we even need to like have these things for us, like that we have so many responsibilities as moms and we take so much on ourselves that we're now looking at AI to take some of the load off. Like, it doesn't seem fair. And if you're thinking that right now, like, it just doesn't seem fair, you're completely right. It's not.
Yeah.
Like,
We
it's
put
not
a lot on ourselves. We do. Like,
it's not how humans are
society.
supposed to live. Like,
I
they're
know, I
not.
know. Can I just like tell you, like, one of my favorite shows right now? I'm watching it on Hulu, so it's an old show. It's not even out anymore, but it's Mediterranean Life, and it's these
Oh,
people that are moving from wherever, sometimes America, Canada, sometimes other places in Europe, and they're moving to the Mediterranean. And when they talk about their lives in the Mediterranean, I just keep looking at my husband going, what the hell are we doing here? We need to go to the slower pace of life. It's so bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I always think at the slower pace of life. Like,
Yeah.
my husband is so against scheduling our weekends, and I'm with him on it now because like when you
Yeah.
have this long, luxurious stretch of time where nothing is scheduled, it is amazing. It's
Yes.
hard though when you have little kids. It's really hard.
Yeah.
So I have to just put that out there right now. Like, if you have little kids, a lot of times the schedule and the routine is what's going to save you, and it's
Yeah.
going to save your sanity in the long run. please put that schedule and routine in. Just make sure like it is a routine and it's not like activity after activity, like all day long.
Yeah.
But if your weekends feel like they're taken up, like I thought mine was, with meal planning, with groceries, with chores, with all of these things, oh my gosh, we're about to make your life so much lighter. And we're going to get into it right after this.
Okay, so I've got to tell you guys, first of all, before Joanne starts to get into all of these, grab a pen, download this episode, because you are going to want to take notes. We are going to make your life so much easier.
So our first tool we're going to use for AI is ChatGPT. And ChatGPT, you can get it on the website, like a desktop computer, chatgpt.com, a web browser on your phone, or there's an app that you can download to your phone. And you just search for ChatGPT in the App Store. It downloads right there. And if you're unfamiliar with ChatGPT, the way it works is that you talk to it like you would a friend or like you would an assistant. You don't have to have any computer-related jargon or anything like that. It can be super simple. And it gets to know you and what you like based on what you say. So you could tell it, no, I don't like that. No, this was a bad job. Do it again.
I need to do that more with my ChatGPT. I almost think that my ChatGPT is like slightly judging me, and I have to be like, okay, I'll work with that. Even though it's not what I wanted. Like, why am I people pleasing my ChatGPT? I am just now realizing it. As soon as you said you can tell ChatGPT, no, that was no good, do it again. That thought has never crossed my mind. I always felt like I just had to be stuck with what it gave me and like figure it out. But
along with you, I always say please and thank you to ChatGPT. Can you please do that again? Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Just
we're preparing for the day that AI does take over. They'll be like, wait, we'll be nice to them. They said please and thank you.
I don't want AI to hate me. No.
I tell Alexa she sucks all the time, but not ChatGPT. ChatGPT, I didn't know I could say that.
Yeah, me and Siri, I do that. And it's so funny because Alexa and Siri use AI in it.
Yeah. Well, I don't even talk to Siri. Siri, I'm constantly like, Siri, go home, you're drunk. Like, you suck.
Like, Siri, shut up, bitch. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm like, Siri, you don't know what you're doing.
You know what you're doing. Okay. So let's go through these ChatGPT things, because like one of my like most hated tasks ever is meal planning. I really don't like it.
I'm there with you.
I actually like, for meal planning, I get into just my routines and rhythms, where breakfast for me, it's one of two meals. It's my overnight oats, which I love, or it's like
coming from here in Tempe, by the way. Shout out to Overnight Oats. Boop, boop. Sorry.
What do you mean?
They're based here in Tempe.
Oh, it's not. I don't use a company though.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. No, the company Overnight Oats is based in Tempe.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. No, Overnight Oats, I use like Quaker oatmeal and like.
Oh, gotcha.
It's actually very simple.
Yeah, I've seen you do it. I have seen you do it. So it's overnight oats, or what's the other?
Or waffle with cottage cheese and fruit. I do love cottage cheese. Like, it's a good protein source.
I like cottage cheese, but the idea of putting that on a waffle, is waffle, none too appetizing.
And like some sugar-free syrup on top. It's so good, and it's a specific brand of sugar-free syrup I use. I don't remember the name, but maybe we'll put that in the show notes for you all. Okay. But I do that for breakfast. Lunch is usually leftovers from one of our dinners. And then dinner is like something really simple off of our, rotation of meals. But there is a time where I'm like, I am bored with all the meals I'm cooking. I need to find something else. And that's where ChatGPT can come in handy. Like, all you have to do is be like, hey, ChatGPT. And we have a prompt for you, like an actual prompt you can use. And that is in the show notes. But it's along the lines of, I have a family of 4 with an 11-year-old boy, 15-year-old girl who don't really like to eat anything but pizza and grilled cheese due to like texture issues. And I don't like fish, like don't suggest anything with fish and ChatGPT. And I'm like, please create a 7-day menu of breakfast, dinners, and lunches and snacks. And ChatGPT is like, here you go.
That is crazy. Okay, so I would love that because my problem with my meal planning that I have, and I hate myself for having this problem because every week it's the same thing. We normally go grocery shopping on Sunday. So on Sundays or Saturday, the conversation will start in our household where I'll be like, hey, what do you want to eat this week? Because I'm pretty open. Like I am definitely what I would call an emotional eater.
Oh, yeah,
I
me too.
am not the person that can eat the leftovers in the fridge if I'm not feeling it. If I'm not feeling it, they're not getting eaten.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that's
love
what I
all
mean by an emotional
leftovers.
eater. Like I have
That's
to be.
That's my daughter too. She will not eat leftovers, but for a different reason.
Well, and I can tell you that the not eating if you're not feeling it sucks if you're also someone who values like thriftiness. Because
yeah.
that's the self-hate there with me. But anyway, so I'll be like, what does everybody want to eat? And my kids each are supposed to cook one meal a week too. So then they also have their staples they go to. Right now we're in a breakfast nachos run with Audrey. She
breakfast nachos.
Yes.
What's on these nachos to make them breakfast?
So here's the deal. Let me just say this. My family loves breakfast. I hate breakfast. I am a lunch person. So this was a combination between the two. So it's basically scrambled eggs with cheese and your choice of meat on top of tortilla chips. Like that's so like we take a baking sheet and cover it with foil and chips and cheese and scrambled eggs. And Audrey will normally make up like some bacon because we all like bacon. And puts the chips, scrambled eggs, and cheese into the toaster oven for 5 minutes, just enough to melt the cheese. And then comes out and everybody like takes a glob of the chips, puts it on a plate, and then tops it with what they want. So like
interesting.
I'll have avocados and bacon and pickled onions like that. So then you're basically eating it. So she likes that because she likes breakfast. So
yeah, I'd see that. And like along those lines, like recipes, like ChatGPT can give you recipes for ideas, especially Bree, since you don't like to eat leftovers.
No, so my husband will do that. So like, he'll put in the like if he has to cook dinner, he'll be like, it drives me nuts. I go to Pinterest and I have my saved recipes, but he goes the easy
very
route.
visual. Yeah.
Yes. And he goes the easy route. He'll go to ChatGPT and he'll type in, I have chicken, garlic, and pasta. What can I make?
See, that's amazing. That's a way you could use ChatGPT there too. Like it's like chopped, but like you're using another brain for chopped.
That is true. That is true. So yeah, so he enjoys it. He uses it a lot for stuff like that. But I like the idea of the meal planning. Like I never thought of asking it for snacks.
Snacks are good. It's funny because when I was first using it, I remember, and I'm like, look what we can make it do. You're like, yeah, but I like the visual. And so a surprising thing that ChatGPT could do is you're like, I want to see what every meal looks like. Please create a picture. And it does. It creates these AI pictures of what every meal looks like. And like our jaws were on the floor. We're like, whoa, this is really cool. And they look pretty realistic as well.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. So in general, like you could use ChatGPT easily for meal planning, for recipes. It'll make you a grocery list to go along with that meal plan.
Yeah, based on your meal plan. It'll actually budget out your grocery list. So it'll tell you how much it costs. And it's pretty on top of it because I went shopping with the grocery list and the grocery list ChatGPT made me was going to be $340. And I'm like, what the hell, ChatGPT? What are you smoking? No, it was $340. And I'm like, okay, we need to go back and we need to do this again because ChatGPT is actually on it with this grocery budget. So it's very helpful tool. It's a really helpful tool. And you could be like, hey, readjust this meal plan so that it's only going to cost me so much in groceries. It'll do that for you.
Really? Did it give you any like suggestions? Like how much detail did it give you? I'm curious. Did it give you brands to save money?
It gave you like basic prices. Like, it didn't give me brands or anything, but I bet you could tell it to give you brands.
That's interesting.
I'm sure you can. But
I'm wondering.
So we've gone over a lot about like the food uses of ChatGPT. We're going to tell you how it can make household chores easier right after this. Okay, so one of the things other things you could do with ChatGPT is chore schedules. Like, I always think when I hear the word chore schedules, Full House episodes where like they're rearranging the chores on that whiteboard and like Danny Tanner
with all the
is like
magnets and
all the
whatever.
magnets and everything. And that is just
Yeah.
overall crazy. What you can do to ChatGPT is you can put in a prompt, and we have a prompt for you, remember, right in the show notes. You could put that in to be like, hey, I have a family of 4 and please create a chore schedule for this family. Here's what everybody does already. Please suggest other chores to do to help keep the house clean. And it'll suggest chores for you and like list everyone's out and make a checklist for each person with the caveat. ChatGPT is a bit misogynistic.
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. So what happened the first time you asked ChatGPT to do the chores?
The first time it asked to do the chores, it gave mom all of these chores. And then for dad, his chore was take out the trash and spend time with the dog. I'm like, I'm not even joking. Like,
kiss my booty, ChatGPT.
Time with the dog. And so I'm like, okay, ChatGPT. And I go back to it and I'm like, please like give dad more chores to do. And I went to
You didn't just call out ChatGPT? Because now I'm thinking, since you said I can tell them that they did a bad job, we should be able to say, ChatGPT, you're being a bit misogynistic.
Yes.
You need to be more gender neutral and disperse the mental load.
Yes.
Equally.
Well, here's another example. I created a morning routine and I'm like, please create a morning routine for a family of 4 to get out the door in time. And it had mom waking up at 5:30 in the morning, and then it had dad waking up at 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. 5:30 a.m. 6 a.m. And then do you know what ChatGPT put on mom's checklist to do at 6 a.m.?
Wake up, dad.
Wake up, dad.
There's a reason ChatGPT is single. That's all I gotta say.
Yes. So just beware of that fact when you go into it and just call it out. Be like, you're being a bit misogynistic. Can we make you a little more gender neutral and make sure that dad has the same mental load? You could even ask ChatGPT things like, are you familiar with the concept of mental load? And that actually primes it. So when you ask it that question, it'll be like, yes, mental load is da 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 da. Okay, please make sure you create a chore schedule that is mindful of not so much mental load on mom. And it should do it from there. But it's pretty funny, the results that it has.
Oh my God. That is crazy. So you could put in, what I'm hearing is like you could put in your age for the kids. So like even on the chore list, I have 2 teenagers, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, as much as you want to put in there in terms of information, just to kind of get it tweaked the way that you want it tweaked for your family and what'll work for you guys.
Absolutely. The another thing that we've started using ChatGPT for is writing reviews, which is a great thing. Like for us, like when guests come on our show, like we read their books, and then a lot of times they're like, "Oh my gosh, it would be so awesome if you could write a review for the book," because reviews really do make the world go round.
I was going to say, let's put a pause in there, because unless you've worked in the field, I don't think people fully, like, we hear it. We know reviews are important. No, you don't understand.
They're real important.
It's immensely important for people that are producing things. Podcasts, hint, hint. Books, authors, like shows. It's services, so important.
It's why we constantly ask you here on the No Goat Mom podcast if you could take a second and go and write a review of the podcast.
Even if it's like 2 thumbs up, great holiday fun, like whatever. That was my throwback to, by the way, to Clueless.
To Clueless. Oh,
2 thumbs up, great holiday fun. Anyway.
But the thing about reviews is like they are time consuming to do. And we realize that. And I can't remember the guest that came on who told us this, but she's like, yeah, all you need to do is go ask ChatGPT to write a review, then go tweak a few words and post it. And I'm like, what? Like, this is genius.
What would a prompt be for that? Would it be something like, write a review about this book? I really enjoyed it. Thought it was cool.
Yeah, you could go in like that for sure.
Okay.
A lot of times I will ask them if they're familiar with the book. I'll be like, hey, are you familiar with the book? I don't know. What book am I reading right now? The Myth of Normal by Dr. Gabor Mate. And
Okay.
it'd be like, yes. And then it gives you a big summary of the book. It'd be like, great. I really like the part about that we're living in a toxic culture. Can you please write me a review of the book that mentions that? And then it goes and writes a review, and it's like completely tailored to you. And you go in and you make it maybe sound a little bit more like you in places and delete sections you don't like. And then you can go post that. And the author gets your really great review on there. It's a great gift to them, and it's made your life easier.
Cool. I like
Yeah.
that.
I like
I
giving
need to do that
people
more.
like suggestions too. So like also not just the creators, but also letting other people find really great material. It's a really cool thing.
It is. It really is. I love that.
Mhm.
Another
Yeah.
thing I found that ChatGPT could do is so like if you're trying to think of projects to do around your house, like maybe you have, I don't know, like a space on your first floor. I'm looking around because like I have this space on my first floor that currently is being used as my office. But it's like this weird space that I don't know what to do with. And so like you could be like, I would like to redesign my first floor. And you could like put in like and it's a space that has carpet and leads up to the third floor. I already have a living room. I already have a kitchen. What could I do with it? It'll give you like ideas for that. Or even like, heck, science fair season.
Oh
like,
my gosh, yes.
Right? Like, what are some cool science fair experiments that I could do? And it'll give you the ideas so that you can start running on your own.
It's a great brainstorming resource.
Yeah.
I know a lot of women here come to us at No Guilt Mom and be like, you know what? I really want to start a hobby. I have no idea what I find fun. And ChatGPT can help you with that. I put a prompt in the other day. I'm like, what are some hobbies I can try? I live in the Phoenix, Arizona area. And it gave me a whole list of things.
Did it give you
like
kayaking?
It did. It did give me kayaking on there. It did. It gave me rock climbing. It gave me like all these active activities. Another prompt that I put in was like, I enjoy reading thrillers. What are some other hobbies I might enjoy? And it gave me a list of things I could try. One of them was escape rooms. And I'm like, you're right. I do enjoy those. Thank you.
I was going to say, hopefully it didn't say, here is how you go and commit a crime.
Here's how you commit.
Here's how you bury a dead body. No.
Shout out, by the way, to Amanda in our Balance VIP.
Who's a CSI.
Amanda is a CSI in Washington, D.C. And in joking, like we do have these Balance member takeovers. And she's like, I could teach people how to hide a body. She did it. She was joking, but it's a really funny joke. Okay. She's like, no, that would be very irresponsible of me to do that.
She's like, but funny, but irresponsible.
But funny, but irresponsible. So shout out to Amanda.
Yes, yes. So we would be amiss if we don't mention some other great tools within your household. So I'm going to say one thing that has been very helpful, and this isn't necessarily an AI thing, but it's going to lead us into the AI of it. And you don't even know I'm doing it because it's not on our outline. But so like I mentioned, I live in a townhouse. It is 3 floors. And I had the hardest time trying to figure out how to communicate within our household. So I forget what was going on. There was something that was going on in Alexa. Like the little Echo dots were like crazy cheap, like $15 on sale. So I bought one for each floor. And that has helped us like communicate between each floor. We even have like one with a what's it called? An Echo Show that has the screen. And my husband has hooked up our ring light to our Ring doorbell to it. So now when I'm on the 2nd or 3rd floor and I'm in front of one of those Echo Shows, I can see the screen pop up whenever anybody's at the front door. It is pretty amazing. It has made things like communication so much easier. But that kind of leads me into, what are all the things that Alexa type things can do for you? It doesn't have to be Alexa. There's a lot of different options. There's Google. Don't you have Google in your house?
I do, but they're not working very well right now. The home one in the kitchen is just completely gone away. And I mean, it's like 2018. So 2017 we bought it. So it's about time. But it's funny that you mentioned Alexa for communication, because I tend to yell across my house. I have a very loud yell, which my kids call my murder yell. And I'm not angry. It's just how I project it. Like I use my murder
Yeah.
yell when like they're not, they tell me I can't use it anymore. I'm very sad. But like Josh, my husband, was in a Turtle Tucson. Let me say that again. El Tour de Tucson.
Okay.
And it was a bike thing. I think he did the 60 miler. And we were waiting on the side of the road. And when I saw him coming, that's when the murder yell came out. It was like, but it was much louder than that. Like, and it sounds basically like someone's getting murdered, is what my kids describe it as. But I say it's
So is that
projecting?
What I'm hearing is that your murder yell is like one of my talents, the one where I'm
Yes.
like, I yell as loud as I possibly can.
Yes, you yell as loud as you possibly can. It's projecting. I like my murder yell, but
I do too. It's very it's very cleansing.
Yes. It lets out all the rage. All the rage in a very productive way that is also meant to encourage and communicate.
Yeah.
So that's going a little off topic. But
okay. But what are some other
Alexas
things
in our house?
Yeah. What are some other things that you could use Alexa for in your house to help make your mental load, your daily life easier?
You can add things to the shopping list. You could put items on subscription. Like we use Amazon Subscribe and Save for a lot of things that need to be replaced regularly, like paper towels and toilet paper.
Oh, see, and I use it for water filters because I always forget.
That's a good one.
And I hate like going to order it once it turns red. So like I have it where it just comes every 6 months. And then like, sure enough, I'll get a notice that, hey, your Subscribe and Save for the water filter is coming soon. And then sure enough, the next day or two, the kids will be like, hey, Mom, the refrigerator is on orange. And I'm like, don't worry, it's already on its way.
It's already on its way. That's a great thing to do it for. Yeah. I use it for supplements and vitamins and stuff like that I take regularly. Yeah. So I don't have to worry about refilling those things. Protein shakes. I need to re-up that. I was going off my protein shakes for a little bit. So like they were accumulating and now I've gone through all the back stock. So I need to start that again.
Right. That happens to us too sometimes. That's the funny thing about Subscribe and Save. Again, in case you didn't know, like Bree didn't realize she could tell ChatGPT that they were not doing things right. You can adjust your Subscribe and Save. Sometimes you'll need it sooner. Sometimes you won't. And we're saying Subscribe and Save. It's not always like that, but still, like putting things on subscription, you can adjust it, have it do more, have it do less as needed. So that's a cool thing. But absolutely. I like, we use routines in our house. Do you guys use routines or do you know what I'm talking about with that? Okay. So Miguel figured this one out and he's like the king of routines in our household. So you can have it do certain things. Like if we say max on anywhere in the house, it'll turn on the lights in the living room. That's a routine. Cool. Like, so you gave it a command and it can do that. But another routine we have is we have a bedtime routine. And at 10 o'clock, it takes the lights in our bedroom and it brings them down to 5%. So the light bulbs go down and like it starts playing. We have a music playlist that it plays. And then at the end of the playlist, it starts playing rain noises. And so I listen to rain noises at night when we're sleeping. So like and you can adjust the volumes and everything. So like you can have it set for certain routines like that. When it's like the kid's birthday, he'll set a routine, especially for Audrey, where he found some princess happy birthday song. And on her birthday, he'll have it set to like go off at like 7 a.m. in her room of like,
I'm sure she appreciates that one.
Oh, yeah. It's come to be known. But
that's funny.
Yeah. So you can do that. I set alarms all the time while I'm working so that I can remember to, I don't know, get up and walk around.
Yeah.
Or remember to stop what I'm doing because I have an interview coming up in 5 minutes because you get really into things. So like those are really helpful. So I love the routines. Helpful. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Well, we hope we have given you a lot of ideas on how you can use AI and other devices to make your mental load a little bit less and make your life just overall easier. Don't forget, we have those prompts for you right there in the show notes, but it's also balanceformoms.com/prompts, PROMPTS. And until next time, remember, the best mom's a happy mom. Take care of you.